Okay, hey, so this is an account idea I've been thinking about for a while now, and I'm finally going to execute it. So, this is going to be a time restricted account. And what I mean by that is, I'm going to be following the game as if it were coming out on release, and the release date was January 4th, 2001. And what I'm going to be doing is progressing the account to the best of my abilities until the next update. For example, the next update is January 21st, 2001. So I have 17 days to progress the account as best I can. Now, there are a few restrictions. I did a lot of research. There's a few restrictions. So there were skills that weren't in the game or were kind of different. For example, crafting. It was not really in the game. There was tailoring, and that was changed later on. And prayer was good and evil prayer. Magic was good and evil magic. Runecrafting wasn't even in the game. Neither was fishing. But there are two ways to progress the account. There's time, like I said, 17 days, or I have aimed to complete all reasonable tasks, and that includes quests, best in slot gear, best skill items acquirable, which shouldn't be a problem initial release, seeing as there was only a bronze axe and a bronze pickaxe on release, and there were no upgrades for them. Killing the highest tier monster, which on release was the demon in the Wizard's Tower, but I'll elaborate on that further later on. Best available food, best skill requirement. So in this case, it would be probably the hardest one would be 88 smithing, because adamant plate bodies were in the game. You could make them through smithing on release, so that would be a restriction. The only way to progress the account is either time gated, so the 17 days, or if I got every single aim completed. Like I completed all the available quests, got my best in slot gear, which would be Addy armor. Range and magic didn't really have much gear at all, so that wouldn't be an issue. Killed the monster, which is behind a cage, so that's not going to be an issue at all. And that's just my dog. Hello. And yeah, if I got the wine, which is the best available food, 35 cooking, and I'd need 70 mining and 88 smithing. Probably not likely I'll get them, but imagine if they'll say I needed 30 mining and 30 smithing to move on. I had all those requirements complete. Then I could progress the account before the 17 days came due. Okay. So that's the idea of the account. I have to play basically with a jank setup, but it's alright because it's going to teach me a lot about the game. I've already done a lot of research which has gone into this. For example, there were no banks. The inventory was actually 30 spots, but when you equip things in your inventory, it still stayed in your inventory. There was no like equip tab, if you know what I mean. So to make up for that, I'm allowing myself to equip 2 items because that makes 30 inventory spots. But there are no banks, so basically everyone was an ultimate Iron Man. And on release, it was PvP everywhere. There was no safe spots. I'm not sure that you could toggle the PvP, non-PvP options on release, so I'm going to play it like I am allowing PvP, just to be safe. There are a lot of skill restrictions. There were only regular trees like this in the game. No, like oak and above trees. Fire making and wood cutting were just kind of not useless, but all you could really do with it was cut down a tree, drop your logs, light them, cook some food, and that was about it. That's all you could really do. For example, I'd have to drop it, then light it, shrimp weren't in the game, but it's Tutorial Island, which also wasn't in the game, so just ignore this for now. It's an exception. I had to do it to progress. Can't skip the tutorial. But the main idea, and I'm going to be making this regardless if anyone watches, I just was hoping more than anything to get tips on maybe things I miss, or something more reliable than the wiki, because I've looked through the wiki and there's been like conflicting sources of information about when it was released. For example, on the wiki it says like iron axes, adamant axes, that kind of thing were in the game on release, but there's another source saying they weren't. So I'm going to assume they weren't, and I'm going to, if I can't find it in an update, I'm going to assume it came out the same time the upgraded pickaxes came out, which I do have written down somewhere. But, so, yeah, I'm progressing the account as if it originally came out. Obviously, it was not the most balanced game when it came out, but that's okay. I just feel like I get a lot of kicks out of doing research, which I know sounds just boring, but I really do like it, and it's an interesting take on the game, and I think I'm going to learn a lot doing this. So if you're interested in watching this, go ahead, let me know, and I'll continue to post them. I'm just posting this on YouTube in hope that people are going to help me progress this account, and well, hopefully they'll help me progress this account, and they'll give me tips on maybe some mistakes I'm making or assumptions I've made where the information isn't really there that might be wrong. For example, the good magic, good prayer, evil prayer, and crafting not being in the game. Maybe someone who actually played the game, maybe he knows more about it. Or I might be missing something with cooking. For example, 35 cooking to make wine might not actually be the highest tier food I can make. Or I could be completely wrong about the axes and the wiki could be correct, and I could use adamant axes straight off the bat when I get the level, obviously. So I'd need to get the required level, which would be 31, in order to progress the account beyond the time gate. Okay, so that's the idea. Restricted with quests, best in slot gear, best skill items, highest tier monster, best food. I need to get all this possible highest created things with skills, if you know what I mean. Like I'd need 30 attack to wield an addy weapon, because adamant was in the game. 30 defense for adamant armor, because that was in the game. That kind of stuff. There's no teleports. They weren't in the game. There's lots of restrictions that I'll go through as I come to them, because I think it'll be very overwhelming to address them right now. Basically, this is like a journey to see what the game was like early on for the original players, and to try to play like that. Another example is there was no run. That didn't come out until RuneScape 2 came out. So I can't run. And in combat, you have to stay for 3 hits before you can run away or walk away. That's another restriction. You also couldn't eat during combat. So that's another restriction. So if you're interested in this kind of content, something a little different, something that I've looked around for, but I haven't really seen anyone doing it. It's similar to, or it was inspired by Jimmy's by release. I'll link that in the description if you haven't seen it, which I doubt. I think a lot of people have. A lot of people have, is what I meant. And it was somewhat influenced by One Chunk Man. I just love the frustration involved in everything basically being so tedious, and so much research was necessary, and you had to define all the rules. I just love that aspect of it, of the game, where you can just create just a whole lot of problems for yourself. And that's what I think I'm getting myself into here. But if you're interested or you have any tips, feel free to let me know. I would appreciate it. And honestly, I'm going to keep releasing all these videos as I can, as I have the time. It's more, I don't mind if nobody watches or if everyone hates it. I'm probably still going to put it up. It's just a way for me to log myself. And if anyone can help or anyone enjoys it, it's just, it's gravy. So, yeah. I'll feel myself as I go, and I'll probably run into a lot of issues or areas of concern where I'm not sure if it was released. I may have to ask a lot of people before I can do certain things, but it's going to be a fun account. And if anyone's interested in watching, it's just good news. But there's nothing bad that can come from putting this on YouTube and allowing people to access it. So if you want to watch it, watch it. If you don't, don't. It's all right. Just putting this forward for anyone interested in a unique-ish kind of series. And hopefully this has grabbed the attention of some people, and it kind of, inspires them to do the same. Because I kind of want this to be a game mode. I don't know how feasible that would be, but it'd be fun if it was like a dead man mode or something similar to that. If that could be implemented in the game, I would love that. Hopefully, eventually that does become a reality, because I just love the different series that YouTube has put out, and it just makes the game that much more fun. So, feel free to let me know if you enjoy this in the comments. And, yeah. Thanks. Goodbye.